loudly. Languishing ladies sing loudly. Church bells ring loudly. Bullets whirring loudly. Deferring dreams like, yo, homie, it ain't no thing. Proudly. Another brother slain in vain in the name of justice. When you got that melanin, doesn't justice always feel like just them? It seems the only time we've been a friend to the system is that one time our OJ contained a little shot of Johnny. Beyond the stars and stripes and prison bars and stereotypes, new lives try to play Picasso by splattering red on canvases of brown skin, as if Black Lives Mattering is a game to them and not a basic right within. All men are created equal.
Because I'm 54, I think about that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. I remember my mother said to me one time that Mr. Cosby gave you immortality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know on one lane, there's legacy there, but also because my life, those former years were always about life beyond Cosby,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I feel like, okay, there's that legacy there, but then because I've had this full life, after that show, there's another lane of legacy that I get to leave. There is part of me that I will be able to leave this earth, knowing and people knowing that I was a good person. Talked to my dad. I talked to him yesterday, and what he said to me often, people love you, and people always talking about, your career and your success and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but what really makes me the most proud is that you are a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard it from my dad. I'm a good person because my dad's a good person. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
It is possible to walk through this world, and with all of the darkness in the world, it is possible to maintain your soul
Mm-hmm.
and be a good person.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. Pretty sad way to start any day, but can only imagine the heartbreak in that family.
Yeah, peace and love go out to Malcom Jamal Warner's family. And of course, peace and love out to our Let It Be Known family. I'm Nielle Anderson, and welcome to Let It Be Known. And we're going to have a lot of headlines we're going to go through. Of course, we're going to talk about Malcom Jamal Warner. We have news, of course, on Breonna Taylor, reparations out of California, and bad news for Black farm workers. So much to talk about this morning. But Malcom Jamal Warner, everybody felt like they lost their cousin yesterday. I mean, everybody. Such a sad
You
day.
name it. Yeah. Yeah. You name it. Everybody. It is, it was just surprising. Of course, it's always surprising. It seems, just so young, 54 years old. I was seeing some photos of his wife and his daughter and all these pictures of him and his daughter. And it's just so, for a little child, I think his daughter can't be no more than now, 5 years old.
Mhm.
And to see those photos, but it also the memories, like that, what we're seeing on the screen now. One of the funniest but more profound moments from the Cosby Show.
Mhm.
Um, but I'll tell you this: my my memory of Malcolm Jamal Warner, one of my biggest memories of Malcolm Jamal Warner, had nothing to do with Malcolm Jamal Warner. And I was working for the Los Angeles Daily News. I know I've told this story before, but the Cliff Notes version, and I use Cliff Notes only because I always think of Cliff Notes. I think of the character Theo and that show with him
Cockroach.
out
Mhm.
Cockroach, But working for the LA Daily News, and it was another tragedy. Bill Cosby's his actual son, his real son, Ennis, was killed in Los Angeles, and we We had editors who were just chomping at the bit to be first. Everybody wanted to be first. We wanted to beat the LA Times and other outlets with the story. And they wanted to run that Malcolm Jamal Warner had been killed. It was a white newsroom, folks. So I had to tell them, Malcolm Jamal Warner is Cosby's TV son. His son name is Ennis. They were going to run over the headline that Malcolm Jamal Warner from the Cosby Show was killed in the Sepulveda Pass. That's one of my memories. I saved the LA Daily News from immense embarrassment. But nonetheless, this guy, Theo Huxtable, it started with Theo Huxtable for many of us. His career expanded well beyond Theo Huxtable. I really liked him in Malcolm and Eddie. I liked him in so many other things. And what I didn't realize, Niel, maybe you knew this and realized this before, how talented of a musician he was, even winning a Grammy.
Yeah, he won a Grammy with Layla Hathaway and Robert Glasper, my mistake, for Jesus Children. He was a poet, and he was just a solid guy. And a lot of times when people die, you really see who they really were. We just knew him as Theo, and we kind of went on with our lives. But as his life was remembered yesterday, you saw so many different aspects of him: a friend, a father, a poet, a musician, an activist. I saw him giving love to Riza from the Nation of Islam. So he was just, and it was such a tragic thing. Life is fleeting, and like when somebody's sick, you can prepare yourself. But to, tragically die on vacation in Costa Rica due to a riptide, that is tragic. That is just heartbreaking. You're going on vacation with your family to have a good time, and now his wife and child have to come back with his body and not his presence. It's just such a tragic thing. And so I know yesterday I took to TV One and I went straight to the Cosby Show, and I'll be watching that. And I also think about how, the white industry still makes profit off of the Cosby Show, but they want to act like it's not acceptable to watch. Because if you go to Prime is the only one that has the Cosby Show, but you have to rent it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Roseanne Barr, you could go watch her. And then in the racist stuff she said, there are all types of TV shows of people who have been what's his name? The one that's in prison now, like Diddy, the white guy. What's his name?
Oh gosh, yes.
The producer.
Comedian. Wasn't it a comedian too?
Yeah, but the producer that made all the movies.
Oh gosh.
You know what I'm talking about. All his movies are still on TV, and you can go watch them, but we can't watch the Cosby Show.
Yeah, Roman Polanski won Oscars, despite the horrific crime he committed against a 12-year-old child back in the 70s, the late 70s.
Yeah. But thank God for TV One. You can go watch it today. Every day you can watch the Cosby Show.
About Weinstein.
Yeah, Harry Weinstein. You can go watch all of his movies, but we can't watch the Cosby Show anytime we want on Prime. We have to pay for it. So they still profiting off of the Cosby Show, but they're also still banning the Cosby Show. But like I say, thank God for TV One, because you could go watch it every day.
And Bill Cosby wasn't the only actor on the Cosby Show. I mean, look at the career, the money that, like you said, they're making all this money. But what about, the characters who played Theo, the characters who played Claire and Vanessa and Denise, and those individuals, those actors and actresses, you're depriving them of income too.
Right. But they can't take it from us, though.
But they can't.
They can't take it from us. We had Michael Payton on and Sierra last week, and we were talking about the nostalgia of the 90s. And the Cosby Show was a staple. And not only that, Theo showed us what a young Black man really looks like. The Cosby changed the image of not just good times, right? But that there are Black educated parents that raise productive and beautiful children. And Theo represented the excellence of a young Black man. he gave that to
Mhm.
us, and he was funny, he was fun, and he will truly be missed. He
Mhm.
truly will be missed.
They had a synergy that is not found today. Talking about Malcolm Jamal Warner and Bill Cosby and the entire cast, really, because what we saw there, we saw an education. It was an education for white America that
Mhm.
you don't have all black families. In fact, you don't have a lot of black families are not the stereotype. This was a family, a very you know well off, upper middle class family with a lawyer and a doctor as parents who didn't just give everything to their kids. The kids earned what they got. That it was about education. That was a big thing. Education on that show. It was all about education, which led to HBCUs and um, the art, the artwork, everything in that room, Theo's room. And one of the scenes, look at that. Everyone loved this scene here at the shirt, but one of the scenes I noticed that we played, and Greer played it a little earlier, and they were showing it a lot yesterday all over the internet. When Cosby and they was doing the lean in and stuff, and he had the earring in his ear. He had was it the jazz greats on his wall, and he had Michael
Mhm.
Jackson on his wall. He had all these books in his room. That there were messages everywhere on the Cosby Show.
Mhm. Well, yeah, they were teaching white folks what, an all-American black family looks like. Doesn't just look like, struggle.
Yeah. I
It
remember
doesn't look like struggle.
I remember the episode where they found a marijuana in Theo's book.
Mhm.
And I remember the reaction of some people because it turned out it wasn't Theo's, right? Well,
Mhm.
why couldn't it be his? Why did it have to be his? And that was another message, right? We're raising our kids to have respect for their bodies too, their health too.
Yeah.
Oh, and then of course there's the classic, the all-time classic. So there are people, Niel, who say you ask a trivia question, who made the song Night and Day? They'll say Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sad. But like I said yesterday, everybody felt like they lost a cousin. I mean, so many messages of love poured in from his castmates. I know Melissa Ford, her Hot and Bothered podcast, had one of the last like in-depth interviews with him, and he talked about we saw earlier legacy. And so she put that out yesterday. I mean, Carlton Payne, his castmates, just so much love for him. And that's how you want your legacy to be. I hope that his families, in some way, that all of this love comforts them and gives them the
Yeah,
peace that surpasses all understanding. Because we didn't even know how much we loved Theo until yesterday.
yeah. And that love came from what he meant, what his character meant. And as much as Bill Cosby has been criticized, and obviously some of it is as well deserved, but as much as he's been criticized, Malcolm and the character Theo are not too far apart. Malcolm lived a life, as you've been explaining, where people really, for all the right reasons, looked up to him, not just because he was a celebrity, but because how he lived his life. And that's so important. You see a lot of times entertainers, they're just not who they are, you know, that on the screen. If you watch them on the screen and you see them in real life, they're just not the same. Malcolm Jamal Warner lived as if he was truly that character Theo was truly him.
Or it mirrored, yeah, definitely. But
And
he
that's what I'm
definitely,
saying. It mirrored
yeah.
him. Yes.
Mhm. He definitely will be missed, and we will continue to track this story as more developments come out.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we switch gears to from a tribute to something that is just awful to have a sitting U.S. president. We keep talking about how, well, at least in I've said this a lot. When you think that Donald Trump and these folks have a bottom, you're so wrong. There is no bottom. A recently shared an AI generated video that Donald Trump shared. It's very, very disturbing. In it, of course, as you see, President Barack Obama, the first black president of the United States, is dragged in handcuffs, thrown into an orange jumpsuit, and shown on his knees before Trump, who stands over him smirking, who sits over him smirking. Let's be clear, the video is not satire or political parody. This is a sitting president weaponizing artificial intelligence to project his racist fantasies onto the world stage. The scene is a digital lynching, an artificial execution of dignity, power, and Black excellence. Trump has always envied Barack Obama. He hates that Obama represents everything he can never be: disciplined, graceful, educated, and respected around the world. Trump doesn't just want to beat Obama, he wants to humiliate him, erase him, and make him kneel. And worse, millions of his followers will eat it up as truth. In a nation where deep fakes is obfuscates, and I'm so messed up in my words because it's so angering, the distinction between fact and fiction. Trump is employing AI to recreate the most repugnant episodes of American history, featuring a black man bound in chains, kneeling, and a white man beaming above him. This is fake news. It's just dangerous. It's a digital extension of Jim Crow and even slavery. Niel, this is outrageous to say the least.
Yeah, it's I mean, of all the things that he could be doing, he's resharing AI generated images. I mean, their social media is out of control. I mean, if you look at
Out of
the White
control.
House social media, they're using hip hop songs. I mean, they're just so disrespectful on the things that they did. Um, and this is just all trying to refocus us on things that are not important as Project 2025 continues to roll out. As we get serious and get into the devil of the details of what they're doing in Project 2025, they don't want us to pay attention to us. They want us to be enraged about things like those images. So then we're distracted from the releasing of the Epstein files. You know what I mean? Everything is no, don't look here, look over there, or look over there. But don't look at what we're really doing and how in about a month or two, you're going to be impacted by everything that we're taking away from you, from your livelihood. And so that's why stories like this is generated, because we can get mad about it, but there's a lot of other things that they really are doing that we should be paying attention to and just blowing this off, because this is BS. Okay, it's disrespectful, yeah, but it's more important to what that Trump clan is in that White House doing. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, it's I think it's more than disrespectful. I think you're right, but I think it's more than disrespectful. I think Trump didn't just post a deep fake; he posted his deepest fantasy, and
Yeah.
it's just a shame. It's really a shame that, like, I mean, to your point too, that we even have to talk about this. But the narrative in mainstream or white media, they're subpoenaing Obama. It's just,
But this is all a distraction, because what's
yeah, it's a
really a
distraction. Yeah.
shame is when we're not able to vote next year. What's really a shame is what they did to try to do to Breonna Taylor's family yesterday. You know, what's really a shame is what they're doing to Black farm workers. What's really a shame is how they're trying to take away benefits from communities, nonprofit organizations that need funding to help take care of our communities. We were just talking about Theo, and when he got out of college, he was working with community organizations and serving the community. Organizations like that, their funding is being taken away. And he wants us to pay attention to that BS that he's putting out there. And we have to like really start reprogramming ourselves to pay attention to what they're really doing. Because we might not be able to vote next year, Stacey. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? Let's
and
talk about that. They want us to talk about that, but let's talk about the bullshit that they're doing to our communities. They're taking stuff away from us.
yeah, and it's taking away the subsidies too from the Obamacare. So starting in January, you're going to see if you have health care, you're going to see
Right.
your premiums go up at least 20-25%, which is off the charts,
And
off the
that's the
charts.
stuff that they don't want us talking about. They want us like reacting to their social media post, and it is disrespectful. Yeah, it is, but Obama can handle it. He got
Well,
it.
yeah, and somebody mentioned that in the chat about the subpoena, and I think that they should bring Obama before if they want to. Go ahead and bring him before Congress to testify. Obama is. You could put all of Congress together, especially the Republicans, the MAGA Republicans particularly, and put them all together, all their education together, or whatever, and they still can't match this man, and not his wits or anything else. And the composure that he has will drive them absolutely bananas. So you know what? FAFO. There you go.
Yeah, Obama's not the only one though. They want to call Kamala Harris to the stand to testify against Joe Biden and his competence. They want to call Hillary Clinton. All of it is a distraction from Project 2025. And we as the people really need to focus on that and all of the things that they are taking away, what they're doing to these concentration camps, because they're coming for all of us. And Obama, like he said, stop looking for a Messiah. We sitting up here talking, we don't need a Messiah. We need to be reactive and proactive to what this Trump clan is doing.
Well, in other news today, well, this week, Shannon Sharp, of course, a 57-year-old sports icon, settled his $50 million sexual assault lawsuit filed by his ex-girlfriend, a woman more than 30 years his junior. And just hours after the ink dries, she announces she's retiring from OnlyFans. One viral tweet nailed it, said, "Now that I'm rich, I'm no longer getting naked on the internet for strangers." Another user posted, quote, "Shannon Sharp retired a 20-year-old OnlyFans worker while his kids still clocking in." The case may be closed legally, but the public isn't done dissecting what looks less like justice and more like a transaction. And really, what happens when real allegations meet internet fame and hush money? Are we witnessing justice being served, or just another case where the truth gets lost between cash and clicks? This was all about what it turned out to be. Shannon Sharp was stupid. Now he paid, and that's that. Really.
Yeah, we talked about this story last week, and yeah, it broke this week about her saying she's not doing OnlyFans anymore. But I mean, that's their business. He got a young girl. She took his money, and I mean, that's just that. I mean, the thing about it is that he'll be able to go on, as a man and still continue to thrive in an industry, to where it might not be that, welcoming for a woman. He'll be able to move on, and he'll be like, yeah, you get bros to be like, bro, it's cheaper to keep her, that type of crap. But I mean, we'll see if
Yeah.
we'll see. Look, we'll see if he turns up in trouble again if he's learned his lesson. Because
Well,
nine
yeah,
times
and
out of
that's
10, he probably hasn't.
yeah, and that's the point, right? And it's also, here's the thing. Shannon Sharp is my age. What do I look like? What do any 57-year-old man looks like with a 20-year-old, a 19-year-old, even a 22-year-old? Come on, go get yourself a 50-year-old woman. And the reason why you don't, guys like that don't, is because they don't have the intellectual capacity. They're not able to fulfill these women, and they think that some young 19-year-old they can have their way with or whatever. But this girl taught him a supreme lesson. And He's a fool. He's an absolute fool. She at 19 and he at 50 some odd years old, she schooled him. He didn't school her. And hopefully other men his age,
Did she really
our
school
age
him?
was
Did she school him or did
yes,
she
she
just take
did.
some of his money? I
No,
mean,
she schooled him. She schooled him
she
because
might have.
now he should realize you can't play around with these little girls. These little girls will mess you up. They will mess you up. You too old for this. You're not, if anything, she proved you're not that smart. You're not that smart. And that's how I look at it, Neo.
Well, yeah, he definitely wasn't there, but he was playing too. He knew, like, he released the tape of them having sex. Like that. How did that get out? So, I mean, you would be surprised what people do in their bedrooms. It might not be to your liking or your
No,
taste,
it's not
but
that.
I mean, this is nothing new. I guess what I'm saying,
Mhm.
this is nothing new under the sun. Look at the owner of the New England Patriots and his wife. I
And
mean,
that,
his
mhm.
girlfriend. I mean, he got that little young girl. Look at the former owner of the Clippers. They
Yeah,
did a
right.
whole series about that. This is nothing new under the sun. And this is just the world. This is just life. This is just life. Some
Yeah.
men get
And this
with
is what
these
happens.
young girls. Look at Cher. Cher got her a young tender.
I bet Cher's not smacking him around and
Well, was he
choking him
smacking
out
her? But
and
that
choking him
some
out.
but
That's
okay, Stacey. Some people like kinky sex. That's
no,
their
I understand
business.
that.
That's
I
their
under
business. If you want
I
to get choked out a little bit, that's your business. Ain't
I
nothing
under
wrong with that. That's what they chose to do.
I underst I understand that, but he had to he this is where his head went blank, right? He had to understand that this girl was setting him up. You doing all this crazy. It's like the picture Trevor Bauer lost $140 million because he choked some woman out.
He settled Dr. Joni because he wanted to move on. He wanted to get this behind him, and it didn't look good in the public. It didn't even bother him personally. It was his public persona that he wanted to clean up because he had deals on the table. But
He offered her $10 million to begin with, according to him.
yeah,
According to him.
he wanted to just, here you go on. He wasn't
Shannon
he
ain't
don't
that
feel
rich
like
where he gonna give
he
away.
feel like he didn't do I bet you she got paid though. You think that she didn't walk away with at least 10 million?
Oh, she walked away with probably 25 million. But
Yeah.
what I'm
So he
saying
got
is
what she did.
Shannon ain't, and that $25 million hurts the pocket. He ain't that rich. He still got to clock in every day. He ain't that rich. Shoot.
I think he's
But
pretty rich, Stacey.
I think he's wealthy. Yeah, there's no question about it. But 25, people with these millionaires, they don't like to part with their money. They
No,
don't
not
like.
at all. But I'm just saying he does have it to give. And he surely did pay her off, okay?
Yeah, he
Just
paid
like
her off.
Diddy, just like Diddy. If he would
Hmm.
have gave Cassie that 30 million when she asked for it the first time, that
He
he
wouldn't be in
ended
this
up having
predicament.
having to do more because not only did he give her 20, but then he had to pay them attorneys millions. It would have been cheaper just to pay her off
Yeah, but
and a lot
again,
less trouble.
I just think that these men, especially when you mentioned Cher and others, but I think that when you are messing with these OnlyFans, these strippers or whomever, you got to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And Shannon didn't understand that assignment, and he got caught out there.
Mhm.
And so it's
Or
just
or
ridiculous to see this stuff.
or or he wasn't doing what he was supposed Papa wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. Because if he would have been paying her off and keeping her happy, that wouldn't have happened. So see, it's always cheaper to just do what they ask you to do. Now you got a smear campaign on you. And you got to pay me more. You got to pay me more than the 10 million that you offered. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is
But
some
to me, it's a
personal
it's
stuff.
a pedophilia type mind for a 57-year-old to be with a 19-year-old. It's a pedophilia type mind. I have no respect for Shannon Sharp after that. I don't care if the girl white, black, whatever.
No.
57 years old and 19, it's a pedophile mind, if you ask me. That's my
Mm,
take on it. And that's the
yeah.
problem I have with it. I don't think I think the difference between him and Cher, it's a big difference. This is a 20-something-year-old man that she's with. This was a child that he was with, and an
Well, she surely
OnlyFans
didn't act like
child.
a child. She
No,
surely
she didn't.
wasn't acting like a child. And if she lied about her age, then like I'm not defending
He never
Shannon
said she
Sharp.
lied. He never said she lied
I'm
about her
not
age.
defending Shannon Sharp. I'm just saying that's his business. And if he likes young women, so be it. Everybody has their own preference in what they do. She was 19 is
We could
legal.
have
19 is
well,
legal.
we could
It's
have
legal.
preferences, but we should also have some sort of conscience too. My gosh, what's
But
next?
who
I
are
mean,
we to judge?
okay, but we are getting into territory of pedophilia almost. If she's a couple of years younger, that's pedophilia.
Okay.
So we got to be careful. I think, Neil, I'm not here to argue with you on it. I'm just stating that we got to be careful with that because even in that Howard Stern, Donald Trump unearthed interview, Robin Quivers asked him about age, and he said age didn't mean nothing. She says, uh, give me a thing. He's like, well, I'm not going to do a 12-year-old. So
Mhm.
does that mean you're going to be with a 13-year-old, Donald? And are we gonna say, well, that's okay. That's his preference. That's his choice. We're not gonna say
Or
that.
Well, no, but I'm talking about legal people. I'm not talking about
No, I
children.
understand. No, 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 no. Believe me, Neo. I know you're not. Believe me,
Mhm.
I know you're not. But this is the road that we travel. We've seen legislation coming out of the West or the Midwest in the last couple of years where they are trying to legislate that you can marry a 13-year-old.
I
We've
mean,
we've talked about it on this show.
how old was Priscilla Presley when she married
Right.
Elvis?
That
But
right.
that's what I'm saying. This ain't nothing new under the
It's
sun. This
not, but
happens.
we j
Certain
so
individuals have these things. Like when in high school, like there were dudes that were like in their 20s coming to pick us up to hang
right.
out. These things happen. This is just a celebrity that, but this happens every day. It's nothing new. I'm not saying
Right.
it's right or it's, I'm just saying it ain't nothing new.
It's not, and that's the problem, that it's nothing new, and at what point do you say something about it? Do you take a stand on it? I mean, it's been going on, and it should stop. It should be an attempt to stop. It's never gonna stop, but it should be an attempt to stop it,
So
and I think
so
when we
so
see these cases.
was Jay-Z wrong? It's out there that he got with Beyonce, he was 31, she was 18. Was he a pedophile?
So again, you made the point about being legal. I think still that's pretty what they call it in short eyes. I think Beyonce is a pretty woman and all that stuff, but it doesn't excuse it. 31 and 18 to me is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. A 31-year-old man, what do you have in common with an 18-year-old? You have in common with a 19-year-old?
They look at them now. They are the most powerful couple. They're
Yeah.
happy.
Are they
So
are they
why
really
are
happy? Do
we
we know that?
why I mean,
Do we
why
really
would
know
you
that?
but why would I mean, are you really happy? Why would you question it if they're out there? This man travels with her to every tour
I get
day.
it.
He
I
they
get it.
are a they for me, I don't see anything but love. I see that they built a strong family, a strong marriage. And they're together. They've had he got beat up in the elevator by the sister. So
Mhm,
they had some issues. Looks like she
mhm.
did a whole album on it. He did a whole album on it. Looks like they worked it out. They're a happy couple. What's the problem?
Let me tell you something, Neil. Any any 31-year-old, any 31-year-old come approaching my 18-year-old, he will never see her again, one way or the other.
Okay.
That's the bottom line. But I get it. Listen, to each their own, like you said.
Right.
But when they start going
You wouldn't date
into
one, yeah.
pedophilia territory, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. But and
Somebody
you
said
got
next issue.
I know, but you make the point of Jay-Z. that Elvis and Priscilla worked out until it didn't.
Yeah, they were happy until they weren't. And she still reps Elvis Presley to this day.
But she's making. I don't count to this day because Priscilla. I will credit her with making sure that estate way back in the 70s got on its feet and was stable and was making money. I will credit her with that. But it's about money. So it's about. But nonetheless, hey, I guess it's, as y'all said, next issue. And it's a
Yeah,
good
it's
issue,
their
actually.
yeah, and to my point, Monique, it's their business. You know what I'm saying? Though they're consenting adults and they're doing what they want to do. I mean,
Let me just say, I will say, listen, if Jay-Z and Beyonce marriage is great and good and they happy, whatever, hey, I'm happy for them. I don't know them, but I'm happy for anybody who has a successful, happy marriage. I'm happy for you.
right.
Yeah, I have no issue with them. But when you say somebody 31 to 18, I have an issue with that. But maybe that's just my issue. That's
Hmm.
all. Let's get to something good.
Okay.
Harlem. Let's go to
Hey.
Harlem. Harlem isn't just a neighborhood;
Diddy's
it's
from Harlem.
global.
Look, Diddy's from
Oh
Harlem.
Lord, here we go. I think Harlem has now sent Diddy back to Mount Vernon. So, but and for 51 years, Harlem Week has been the pulse of the rhythm. From August 1st to 17th, the streets will come alive again with music, fashion, food, and a celebration of Black excellence, past and present. This year's theme for Harlem Week is Celebrate Our Magic. It reminds
Mm,
us that despite the challenges we face, our culture, resilience, and creativity remain unmatched, from the legacy of Percy Sutton and, of course, Hazel Dukes, who you guys have been talking about, to the voices of today's youth and the rhythms of Harlem Broadway Road. This annual celebration is more than a festival. It's a movement. And Harlem Week, again, it kicks off on August 1st. It's always, what reminds me, Niel, a little
hmm,
bit of Harlem Week is what Danny Bakewell does, A Taste of Soul.
hmm.
Only Harlem Week is not a week. It lasts 17 days. So
Oh, so then it's more like Taste of Chicago.
is that what they do in Chicago?
Yeah, Taste of Chicago is it's more than a day. It's I think it's over the course of several weekends. But yeah, it's festival season time. And it's nothing like a good Black festival, Black cultural festival to happen. And so yeah, Taste of Soul in LA is October 18th. Taste of Chicago is September 5th through 7th. And it's nothing like buying from local vendors, supporting small
Hmm.
businesses, hearing local talent sing, and just fellowship and meeting new people outside with your Daisy Dukes on. It's just a good time. I've always wanted to go. I see those block parties in Chicago, and everybody's turned up. The fire hydrant is going. It's like a scene from a Spike Lee movie. You know what I'm saying? Just a
Do the
really
right
good
thing, y'all.
time. Yeah. It's just a really good time. So it's festival season, y'all. And I know there's a Black festival in every town, in every city this summer.
It's got to be. It's got to be. But Harlem Week is always it's the epitome of like, as they say, Black excellence and celebrations and all of that. It's always fun, and
Yeah, it's
people
always
come from
fun.
everywhere. Yeah, people come from
Hmm.
everywhere. So it's not just for folks in Harlem. It's not just for folks in New York. It's for folks everywhere. And you have top notch entertainers come out. A-listers, I guess, is what you call them. They
Hmm.
come out and perform. So it's always lots and lots of fun, and it's jam packed up in Harlem, uptown. So folks, enjoy Harlem Week. It starts. We're giving you a heads up. Enough of a heads up. Doesn't start for another 8 days.
Oh,
So
eight
there you
days.
go.
Okay. All right. All
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
it'll
You got
start
a couple
August
months.
1st.
You got a couple months for Taste the Soul, and they turn 20 this year. Taste Soul turns 20. So I know
Nice.
Mr. Bakewell wants to do it big. And then, like I said, next month, well, September is Taste of Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay, we got some more headlines. Interesting news coming out yesterday. Brett Hankinson,
Oh
the
gosh.
man who pretty much murdered Breonna Taylor, has been sentenced to 33 months in prison and 3 years supervised release for violating Breonna Taylor's civil rights during the no-knock raid that ended her life. Now, of course, this comes after the Trump clan DOJ said Hankinson should receive 1 day in prison. Now, another note that happened yesterday, Bianca Alston, the aunt of Breonna Taylor, was among 4 people arrested outside of the court before the sentencing was released. So it looks like the DOJ, Stacey, didn't get their wish, but they're still, because it's a federal case, Donald Trump still could pardon him.
And that's what folks are saying too, that they are racing for that. But how dare the DOJ? And when do you ever see that happen? Say, oh, he's not a threat. 1 day in jail is enough.
Yeah, yeah. And
Horrible.
so, and sometimes, it's good that the court did not follow their recommendation,
Mhm.
because it's still now in the history books that he was sentenced. And it'll be noted that if Donald Trump unfortunately does pardon him, it'll be noted as to what he did.
Exactly. Yep.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I think we should also note that Hankinson's shot went through the wall and into a neighboring apartment. I'm not so certain that we could say he murdered Breonna Taylor, but he was among that crew that was there, that led to Breonna Taylor losing her life. That
Hmm.
them taking her life, really.
Hmm. For sure. And in more news that came out yesterday, and what looks like an attempt to distract us from Trump's nasty, perverted
Oh gosh.
ways with his friend Jeffrey Epstein, Trump has released records on of the FBI surveillance of Martin Luther King Jr. despite opposition from his family and the SCLC, which is, of course, the civil rights organization group that he led until his death in 1968. Now, the release involves more than 240,000 pages of records that had been under a court imposed seal since 1977. So the FBI gathered all of this information and records, and they turned them over to the National Archives and Records Administration. Now, King's family, including his 2 living children, Martin III and Bernice, were given advance warning that the release was coming, but they also said, Stacey, in a lengthy statement, that the personal nature of the matter is very personal to them, and they urge that these files must be viewed within their full historical context.
Mm,
Because we know that the media sometimes will pick and choose what they want to sensationalize or what headline they want to
absolutely.
go with. But the family is urging everyone to look at the total context, meaning, a lot of that stuff was illegal at the time. The attorney general, I forget, was it Hoover? Who was the attorney general at the time
He
that
was the
had it?
FBI guy.
Um, he had a
Oh god.
huge obsession with Martin Luther King.
Dang, that was
Huge.
Hoover, the FBI
Yeah, that's
director.
what I said. Hoover.
Yeah.
Hoover.
Mhm.
He had a huge obsession with Dr. King,
Of course.
and invaded a lot of his privacy. And so, of course, like I said, they're going to put the sensationalized, maybe negative things out about Dr. King.
Mhm.
But his family is definitely urging us to put it in its historical context and read all of it before you just come to the conclusion that they want you to pay attention to.
It's like you said, it's so disrespectful. It's so nasty of Donald Trump to have done this. It was a reason why those files were sealed, and way back in 1977, those files were sealed, and it was just so. Why couldn't you give that family that, as you say, that bit of grace? The father was violently assassinated, um, and his mission in life was only for the greater good, and they suffered and suffered and suffered, and now you're gonna do this.
But
It is a distraction,
yeah,
of
it's a
course,
distraction. Bernice posted yesterday. She posted, now release the Epstein files.
Now
That
release
was
the
her
Epstein.
response,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
And I think it's backfiring because I didn't see much yesterday of
Yep.
media talking about it. So I think that it fell on deaf ears. And the level of respect that this country has for Dr. King, it goes a little deeper maybe than Donald Trump and his clan expected.
Exactly.
Because
Yep.
nobody's shifting through these files pulling out anything. Now there will be some, of course, the white ring you might see it on Bart Bright, and those info war shows that are out there, but for the most part I haven't seen it. But if you do see it, the family urges you to put it all in historical context.
Hmm.
um, and speaking of more of that nasty clan, the Administration Department of Housing and Urban Development is reportedly preparing to close several housing discrimination and environmental pollution cases. Now, according to Publica, the allegation suggests that the state and local governments in regions from the South to the Midwest may have disproportionately placed industrial facilities or low income housing in minority neighborhoods while steering similar developments away from predominantly white areas. Now, according to one staffer, they say no administration previously has so aggressively rolled back the basic protections that help people who are being harmed in their community. The civil rights protections that HUD enforces are intended to protect the most vulnerable people in society.
So they let me get this straight. So they're moving these people out, is what you're saying?
What is happening
They're
is
forcing them out.
There were
Hmm.
cases within the HUD department that were being investigated. So like remember when Biden did the infrastructure bill? When he
Hmm.
did the infrastructure bill, a lot of the funding in that was for communities across the country,
Right.
that Black communities that have been decimated because of highways that they decided
Hmm.
to tear down neighborhoods. So these cases that were on the docket in HUD, they're getting rid of them. They're not going to hold anybody accountable. The funding from the infrastructure bill is gone. And so, people are just left with no accountability and no justice.
Mm.
And so
Mhm.
HUD was for the least of these. And so now this is
Yep.
what you have.
Yep. Environmental racism is what MB says. Orange G says the Secretary of HUD makes Herschel Walker look like a genius. And
Mhm.
MB also says, and he's 100% right, this is Project 2025.
Yeah, and so while the media is talking about this AI, this type of stuff is impacting our communities across the country. And we would
Mhm.
like for them to have roundtable discussions about this and the impact that it's going to have on the American people.
Mhm.
These are the type of conversations we should have. And then moving right along, here's more information. The USDA has announced it will no longer use the term socially disadvantaged to guide increased benefits for racial minorities and women across key agencies. And critics caution it's erasing hard fought protections like just last year before last, Senator Raphael Warnock was awarded a big funding for Black farm workers. All that stuff going away.
In the way.
So, I mean, these are the things when we talk about, smoke and mirrors, Dr. King. No, let's talk about the Epstein files. AI, no, let's talk about what you do in the HUD. Let's talk about what you do in the Black farm workers. Those are the conversations that are getting missed because the Trump administration has found a way to distract us from all of
Hmm.
these things.
Well, Trixie says nothing is going to happen until everyone is poor and homeless, living on the street. The only people who will be okay are the rich. That's what they want.
Right.
They want, and it's not just they want you living on the street, poor and homeless. They want you. Trump has shown it. He wants you in a position where you need to look to him for help, and then he can dictate the terms in which he could provide that help.
Mm-hmm. Sound just like a master to me.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It sounds just like a master to me. And then we have some news coming out of California. We have a reparations update for y'all because we still focused. We still gotta stay focused. And Black folks want reparations. So California continues to move the hope and path forward for reparations. One of the bills, Assembly Bill AB7, has made it out of committee, and the bill is part of a larger reparations package. Now, Chad, we want to know if you think this is a form of reparations, because this is part of the conversation, Stacey, that Californians have. What reparations looks like, because we know it's not 40 acres and a mule. So this part of the bill would allow California state universities and private post-secondary educational institutions to provide admission preferences to applicants who are descendants of slavery, as long as doing so does not conflict with federal law. Now, it's aiming to bypass the state's ban on affirmative action. Now, critics say it could face legal challenges for using ancestry as a racial profile. So next, the bill heads to the Senate Appropriations and then the floor. And if the bill gets out of that, then it'll head to Governor Newsom's desk. So does this sound like a form of reparations to you, Stacey? Free education?
Well, free education is part of it. But what, higher education is free? Yeah. So that would be just a part of it, a small part.
This is a part of a larger reparations
Yeah.
package.
Yeah.
So what they did was, instead of trying to say give everybody a lump sum of money like the commission in San Francisco did,
Mhm.
the state legislation is saying, no, let's present a package that has different forms of reparation, whether it's
Mhm.
land, whether it's education, whether it's healthcare. And so
Mhm.
it's just really building out what reparations could look like for Black folks.
Yeah, I think, again, free education, free higher education is only. I mean, that's only part of it. You gotta come with more than just that.
Yeah, well, LB, aka Big Chill, says it's a small start in the right direction.
Right. It's a small. Yeah. It's not. It's not. You can't say, okay, you get free education. That's your reparations. No, that's not acceptable.
Yeah, well, like I say, it's a lot. It's a part of a larger package
Mhm.
that they are continuing to roll out. Now, the Stephanie Humphreys channel said this is not reparations to me.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's a
I
piece.
mean, I'm with what's was it LB? It's a start. It's a small start in the right direction.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a piece, like you said.
It's a piece of reparations. But the good thing is that we're moving it forward. And us as Black folks, we have to be centered on things that empower and build us up. Because we see what the white folks is doing. And our last story today, Stacey, is Southern University has officially removed Omega Psi Phi fraternity from its campus. Now, this is following the hazing death of student Caleb Wilson, and the expulsion was made public on the 18th, although the university had made the decision and put it into effect back in April. Now, as a result, the fraternity is no longer recognized as a student organization at Southern University and must remove all associated symbols from the campus. And of course, that includes the fraternity plots, benches, monuments, trees, and any other items marking Omega Psi Phi's presence. Now, the three fraternity members, Caleb McCrae, Kyle Thurman, and Isaiah Smith, were arrested in connection with the hazing, and all three face charges of criminal hazing, while McCrae also faces manslaughter charges for allegedly delivering the fatal blow. So Caleb is dead, and then the loss of the three other men, because their lives are shot at this point. So just a sad story, but holding Omega Psi Phi accountable. And they have not given any answer to how long they'll be expelled from the campus.
Oh, this hazing stuff it should have stopped forever ago. It's just ridiculous. There are other ways in which you can get into it. You should be able to get into a fraternity or sorority or whatever. So
Mhm.
it's awful. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
What, hazing?
Hazing, yes.
Mm. Mm. All right. Any
Like,
frat or sororities in the chat? What's your chime in on hazing? And
You
while we're
hazing me. That's
waiting,
why I ain't pledging nothing.
no, you wouldn't pledge. You wouldn't pledge. Grad chapter.
Nope. I wouldn't pledge anything. No, that's why I never did. I'm not
Oh,
doing that.
hmm.
I'm not doing it. You ain't hazing
Would you
me.
take a? Would
I've
you take a?
been
Would you
knock
take an
somebody's head off.
honorary? Would you take an honorary membership if you were granted one?
No, no,
Really?
mm-mm,
Hmm.
no. They it's I just don't agree with the stuff. What I do I will say this, that you look at some of these fraternities, and certainly we talked about the deltas, the sororities and stuff. They it's a nice group. It's cool and all that, and some of them do look out for others, you know, for their own, if you will, and that's all good. But it's just not. I got my own brotherhood. Forget all that nonsense, and I don't have to go through. You go through the when you're a kid and you're in a big family, you go through the dozens. That's enough of a hazing. That's it. That's
That's
enough
it.
of the hazing for me. That's it. So
Yeah, Shonda, it is a sad story. Every time I see that young man, Caleb, my heart breaks. She said, "This is so
yeah.
sad. I pledged D9 AKA at Southern University in 2000." Mm.
Mm. Well, it is a sad story, Nia. Wow, this is how you got to end your headlines, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Well, you're gonna perk it up with this Black History fact.
I hope so. And it's interesting because on this date in 1903, Francis Louis Cardozo, the first Black person elected to a statewide position, he died on this date in Washington, D.C. He was born on January 1st, 1837, to a free Black woman and a white father in Charleston, South Carolina. Um, and he was a former South Carolina Secretary of State, and he was the first Black person in the U.S. elected to a statewide political position. Before entering into the field of politics, Mr. Cardozo studied at the University of Glasgow in Scotland and also attended Presbyterian seminaries in London. He served as a minister and later worked for the American Missionary Association, an organization that was founded in 1865 by abolitionists who founded schools for freed men, African Americans, and other minorities. The association led Mr. Cardozo to found the Avery Institute, Charleston's first free secondary school for African Americans. So, Francis Louis Cardozo. Now, I used to live on Francis Louis Boulevard. I had a brother who went to Cardozo High School, and also I attended Andrew Jackson High School, which was on Francis Louis Boulevard. So, how about that?
So you were familiar with him.
I was familiar, yes, vaguely. I didn't know all his history, though, to tell you the truth. I didn't, you know, it just didn't
Right.
dawn on me that he had all of that history.
Right.
And he got two schools named after him in New York, Francis Lewis and
Mhm.
and then there's Cardozo.
Okay. Well, that is a Black History fact today. I learned something. Okay. And so there's more that happened on this day, July 22nd, the year of 1983. Diana Ross performed her For One and For All concert in Central Park in New York City. That was such an iconic moment. I think they even aired one of them on television, national television. And so there she is, the diva. And I am excited because I'm going to see her at the Hollywood Bowl on Friday. So I was like,
But
"Ooh, I'm in line with the diva. I love it. I love it." And also on this date in 1961, the R&B and soul crooner Keith Sweat was born in Harlem, New York City.
yeah, Greer said she was at the concert in New York at Central Park. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Okay.
They
Okay.
had to. So if you remember, with all that rain, it was started thundering and lightning. Diana Ross literally had to be pulled off the stage. She didn't want to leave the stage, and she was like, "We're gonna do this." It wasn't a plan. It wasn't a rain date or anything. She announced right there, "They pulling me off the stage. We're gonna do this again tomorrow. Come back tomorrow." And
I remember watching
she
it on
came back.
TV. I remember watching that concert
Yeah.
on TV. I do.
Yep.
I
And
do.
she did her thing, didn't she?
She
Wow.
did. Yeah. And so and
But
she's on tour right now, still doing it.
yeah, that was iconic. As you noted, it was a very iconic performance, iconic moment there with the
Mhm.
rain beating down on her. And that I always remember that outfit flowing in the rain and the wind and all her hair. Oh my, Diana
Ye
Ross, what a performer. She's a true diva, a true icon, and diva in the positive sense. I mean, I'm sure, pretty sure that some folks will say she's a diva in that other sense too, but whatever.
I can't
You know,
wait till Friday. I can't wait to see her at the bowl, okay? I'm gonna get all my life back, okay?
you've seen her before though, right?
No, I've never seen her
Oh,
before,
you've never
so I'm
seen her.
looking
Oh, okay.
forward to it. I really, really am.
Wow. Better
Uh,
late than never, huh?
Better late than never. I just wanna go back. Somebody in the chat put Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. MB put Epstein, Epstein, Epstein.
Yeah.
I think he's right. I think we need to continue to flood social media. If Donald Trump wants to flood pictures with Barack Obama getting arrested, let's flood all of those pictures that we see of him and Epstein. Just post them, post them, post them.
He
Flood the
said
algorithm.
he said Diana Ross looks like a superhero.
She does it.
No, in that picture with like she got a cape on, ready to take off. Wonder Woman. She's the Black Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
You
see,
know?
yep. See, Epstein. I think we should flood social media up with Epstein, Stacy.
I think I don't disagree, but you know what? What's interesting? It would be great if you did because MAGA's already doing a good job. You know, the MAGA wants that stuff released too. So join,
Mhm.
do your thing. Let MAGA do his thing, and you can do your thing. So there you go. Uh, RNG also says release the Epstein files.
Right,
Nancy Wall
yeah, we
agrees as
have
well.
to. I mean, when you look at social media and you look at how many pictures
Hmm.
that Donald Trump has with him through the years,
Oh,
private
there's
jet,
videos now too.
or yeah, all of this. I mean, it's unbelievable that, well, it tells us why they're not releasing the files, because probably the
Mhm.
number one person at the top of the list is Donald Trump.
Oh, we figured that, right? When they played the games and then they said, "No, we're not releasing them." Immediately, you had to know. You had to, and now he's saying he's asking Pam Bondi to release the court transcripts. Nobody's asking for the court
It's gonna be
transcript.
all redacted, but and a lot of the women that were young girls at the time are speaking out
They're
and
speaking
talking
out now
about
too.
how Donald Trump would fill all on them and things like that.
Mhm.
And Melania was there for
You
a
know
lot
what?
of it.
Milani, right, right. But you know what? I think you might see happen. You might see Trump now. Epstein was on federal charges, right? Gazelle Maxwell was on federal charges. You might see him make a deal with her to pardon her, and for her to come out and denounce anything about Trump. I think that might be in his playbook too. So
It
don't let
might
that
be.
happen either. Don't let that happen, folks. As Neil said, Epstein, Epstein, Epstein.
Get it out there. When MB started it, I say let's do a campaign and just go ham. Okay, you want to do Obama? We got one for you.
Don't mess with Obama for. Leave that child alone. Um, the black-owned newspaper of the day is the Florida Sun. It was founded in 1931. It is the oldest African American newspaper in Central Florida. It is a community newspaper utilizing both staff and freelance writers for content that captures social and political commentary that is relevant to the local Black community. The newspaper offers print and online versions of the paper, with printed copies being free at more than 400 distribution points throughout Central Florida. These distribution locations include major retailers such as Publix, Walmart, Winn-Dixie, Walgreens, and CVS, as well as many convenience stores such as 7-Eleven and Circle K. So check out the Florida Sun newspaper, either online or if you're in Central Florida, you know where to pick it up from now. Check them out and check out their latest headlines.
Yes, and of course, talking about headlines, you know where the black headlines are at. They're only the best black headlines in America are at blackpressusa.com.
You know what? I cannot disagree with you on that.
I bet you can't.
Well, folks, we will return tomorrow. Hopefully, we try. I will say this, Neil, right? We try to present more positive news where we can, such as the Harlem Week story,
And Diana
even
Ross.
and Diana Ross, right? And generally, even though we had our little back and forth about Jay-Z and Beyonce, generally we talk good about, we have great things to say about what she's doing, Beyonce is doing. So
Well, I
keep
didn't
checking us
wait.
out.
Whoa. I didn't say nothing bad about Beyonce on this show. I was
No,
talking
I
about black
said
love. Yeah, I was
no.
talking about black
Didn't
love.
didn't I say that we talk about only good things with Beyonce? Y'all won't allow anything else other than good things when it comes to
Hey, I'm part of
Beyonce.
the
So
beehive, okay?
I know. That's pretty obvious, Nia. Oh, by the way, when it came to the Black Farmer story, and we have reached out to John Boyd, and we will see if we can grab him for a few minutes to talk more about that situation as well. But and unfortunately, we do talk about Trump because you know it's so much that perhaps slips through the cracks that you might need to know. Some of the stuff, as Neil said, it's a distraction, but still, we I think some of that stuff you need to know. So
For
we
sure, I
hope
think it's
we
all
hope we
just
come to a point where we don't have to talk about that guy at all.
well, as long as he's in office and as long as Project 2025 is in effect, Stacey, he gonna get talked about. Okay, we have no choice because
Smack
we're
him
doing it
around. Mm,
from the perspective of what Black folks and people of color need to know. Mainstream media is playing
mhm.
up to him because they're afraid they don't want no more lawsuits. So it's important that we put this information out. It's okay, Stacey. We have our Black Excellence Days too. Today just was a sad day.
It's a sad day, of course. Again, our condolences to the family of Malcolm Jamal Warner. Have a good day,
Mhm.
everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.